Hey folks, welcome to the farm. Wanted to go over watering of the herb plants with you. Very often asked question. Unfortunately, with the herb plants, one of the quicker ways to kill them is to overwater them and keep them wet constantly. They really do like to dry out. So the potting mix that they're grown in the little containers does dry out pretty quickly, and it's a great mix for containers. But as far as when to water, when's too dry, things like that, that's generally what the questions are about that we get. So wanted to spend a few minutes with you. See the different basils here. So this one's thoroughly wet and watered. This one's right there in the middle. This one's nice and dry and ready for watering. So it is a little easier. Obviously you can see it wilting over. This is a little kind of past the dry stage of watering into the wilting, so better to kind of catch that just a little bit earlier, but for the purposes of showing, it's a little easier to see. So in the little containers here, very easy to kind of look at the dirt and go based on what's happening on top. But out in the garden, out in a container, that dries out very quickly. And really, for it to dry out all the way down to the bottom where the roots are established on this nice mature plant like this, you'll see that the roots go all the way to the bottom, and that it does take a while for the plant to dry out all the way down. So what does that look like? Well, we pop it out of the container and you can see top's nice and wet. It's wet all the way down, so it's nice and thoroughly watered. This time of year, being spring, 60s to 70 degree days, that'll take maybe 2 to 3 days to dry out in the greenhouse. This one here, a little further along on the drying out process, not showing signs of wilting or anything, so still nice and green. And this one will make it through today. So this is kind of getting dry on top, but as far as drying out all the way down the bottom, still moist enough to last through this day. So what you want to see is that lighter toned dirt kind of changing color all the way down to the bottom. Again, because the roots are established all the way down the bottom, so as long as it's got water down there, it'll still be pulling it up and fine, even though on the top it might look dry. So, and here's what I was getting at before of it being completely and thoroughly dry, and this is what you're after. So not just the top, but all the way down, showing that same tone of color is what you're after. So nice and dry all the way through and thoroughly. This is a good time to water. So when you water it thoroughly, make sure it's nice and heavy again so that it's got all the water it can hold, and then let it dry right back out. That's the nice thing about the potting mix that's used. It dries out a little quicker than you might well be used to, but it does dry out pretty quickly. So as opposed to a potting soil that's really heavy and holds the water longer, or a soil moist product or moisture keeper or something like that with the diaper crystals that expand and hold the water and then contract, those soils keep the plants wet for a very long period of time. That's what's going to work against the production. As it's drying out, searching out for more water, pulling up more nutrients naturally, growing you a healthier plant. So again, that drying out process is excellent for the plant. It's what will grow you a healthy and robust plant. So on the watering side, again, when you water thoroughly. Try to water in the morning if you can, and just water the dirt and then let it dry out. Hopefully that helps. If you have any more questions, coming out to the farm, hope to see you soon.